Hello everyone, this is the Wealth Accumulation channel. Today, we're going to talk about the current state and future of the Chinese economy. Chinese economy is a hot topic because it not only affects the lives of the Chinese people, it also affects the global economic order and security situation. China's economy in the past 40 years. Amazing achievement. However, many problems and challenges have arisen in recent years. We have three aspects to analyze the problems of China's economy. One is the slowdown in growth. Second, structural imbalance. Third, policy failure. We also want to explore prospects and possible transformation of the Chinese economy. Let me talk to you today about the Chinese economy. First, let's look at China's economy. Causes and consequences of slower growth. China's economy by the end of 2022, after abandoning the zero new crown policy, didn't rejuvenate as expected, but fell into a downturn. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China, Q2 2023, China's GDP annualized growth rate is only 3.2%. Hit the lowest level since 1990. By contrast, US GDP over the same period, annual growth rate as high as 6.5%. This means the economic gap between China and the United States is restretching. The main reasons for the slowdown in China's economic growth. There are the following aspects. First, the new crown pneumonia epidemic. Sustained impact on domestic and external demand. Although China has contained the local epidemic in 2020, but in late 2021 and early 2022, but encountered multiple waves of the invasion of the new coronavirus variant virus. Strict lockdown measures have been imposed in some areas. Although these measures are effective in preventing the spread of the virus, but it also hit consumer confidence hard. And commercial activities, also due to the rest of the world, still facing a severe epidemic situation. China export, also reduced by demand, lessen the impact of supply chain disruption. Second-hand real estate market has a bubble and a crisis. Real estate has been one of the important engines of China's economic growth. It is also one of the main sources of residents' wealth and consumption. However, in the past 10 years, insufficient land supply due to excessive credit, strong speculative demand and other factors, a serious bubble emerges in China's real estate market. Home prices and vacancy rates both hit record highs. In order to contain bubbles and prevent risks, Chinese government since 2016, a series of regulatory measures have been implemented, including restrictions on purchases, loans, prices, sales, etc. Although these measures have effectively curbed the rise in house prices, but also for real estate developers, caused great pressure. Many developers are in financial trouble, unable to repay high debt. The most famous example is Evergrande Group. This is one of the largest real estate developers in China. It is also one of the largest debtors in the world. Evergrande Group at the end of 2022. There is a serious crisis of default, caused market panic and social unrest. Although the Chinese government has taken some relief measures, but Evergrande's problems are still not fully resolved, and could lead to broader financial and economic chain reaction. Third, the government's stimulus policies are unfavorable and inappropriate. China's government responds to economic slowdown. Inadequately effective and appropriate stimulus policies. On the one hand, the Chinese government is too conservative on fiscal policy, refusal to increase deficit spending and social welfare spending to stimulate consumption and alleviate poverty. On the other hand, the Chinese government is too loose on monetary policy, leading to a decline in credit quality and deflationary risks. Risks rise, China's central bank. In August 2023, only the one-year loan rate will be increased, down by 0.1 percentage points. This magnitude is well below market expectations and demand. At the same time, due to the problem of supply and testing and global raw materials, the impact of rising material prices, China Producer Price Index (PPI) surges to 9% in July 2023, hit the highest level in 10 years. This means that the profits of Chinese companies are being squeezed and may pass the cost on to consumers. However, due to sluggish consumer demand and competitive pressure, China Consumer Price Index (CPI) in the same period it fell by 0.1%, showing signs of deflation. Deflation is a phenomenon in which prices continue to fall. It leads to consumers and businesses defer spending and investing, thereby further weakening economic activity. Next, let's take a look at the imbalance in China's economic structure and influence China. Economic structure. The main manifestations of imbalance are the following aspects. 1 is excess investment. Insufficient consumption. China's economy in the past few decades, relying mainly on investment and exports to drive growth. The proportion of consumption has been very low. According to World Bank data, consumer spending in China in 2020, only 38.7% of the total GDP. The proportion of the United States is as high as 68.1%. This means China's economy relies very little on domestic demand, highly sensitive to the external environment. At the same time, China's investment efficiency is also declining, because many investment projects have redundant construction, problems of inefficient operation, and waste of resources. For example, China in 2020, 14,000 kilometers of high-speed railways have been built, but nearly half of them lost money, and the traffic is not enough to cover the cost. Second, the industrial structure is unreasonable. Innovation ability is not strong. China's economy in the past few decades achieved transformation from agriculture to industry and services. But this transformation is not balanced and high quality. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China, 2020, China's primary industry, agriculture, accounts for 3.3% of GDP. The secondary industry accounts for 39.1% of the GDP. The service industry of the tertiary industry accounts for 57.6% of the GDP. By contrast, U.S. figures for the same year were 0.9%, 18.2% and 80.9%. These figures show China, still an industry-dominated economy, the development level and potential of the service industry. There is still a lot of room for improvement. At the same time, China's industrial sector also has structural problems. That is, low-end industries are too developed. Insufficient development of high-end industries. Although China is the largest manufacturing country in the world, but its products concentrate on labor-intensive and low value-added areas, such as textiles, toys, furniture, etc. In high-tech and high-value-added fields, such as chip, aviation, biology, etc., China still lags behind developed countries. And faced with technology blockade and competitive pressure, There are many reasons why China's innovation ability is not strong, including the imperfect education system, insufficient intellectual property protection, insufficient market competition, etc. Third, the uneven distribution of income. Serious social problems. China's economic growth has brought huge social changes, but also caused the widening gap between the rich and the poor and the intensification of social conflicts. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China, 2020 China, the per capita disposable income of urban residents is 42,359 yuan. The per capita disposable income of rural residents is 16,021 yuan. The urban-rural income ratio is 2.64. By contrast, US data for the same year, $51,486 and $28,589 respectively. The urban-rural income ratio is 1.8. These figures show the income gap between urban and rural areas in China is much higher than that in the United States, and it hasn't improved significantly in the past 10 years. At the same time, China also has regional and income inequality among groups. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics of China, 2020, China's richest province should have the per capita GDP of Shanghai, 157,000 yuan, and the poorest provinces, the per capita GDP of Guizhou province is 23,000 yuan. Difference between the two, nearly 7 times more. China's ethnic minorities, vulnerable groups such as women and the elderly, problems of discrimination and injustice. There are many reasons for China's uneven income distribution, including institutional barriers, policy bias, market failure, etc. Finally, let's see the causes and consequences of China's economic policy failure. China's economy. The main manifestations of policy failure are as follows. First, the foreign policy is too tough. Cause confrontation and isolation. China has adopted a more assertive and an active foreign policy, aim at enhance its influence and status in global affairs. However, this policy, it has also triggered reactions from many countries and regions, sense and resistance, especially the United States and its allies. The economic conflict between China and the United States. From 2018. Just keep upgrading. Both sides in trade, technology, finance. There is an all-out war on human rights and more. This war is not only for both sides. Became a huge loss. Also to the global economy. Caused significant disruption and uncertainty. At the same time, China is also developing with its neighboring countries a series of territorial and maritime disputes. For example, in the South China Sea, East China Sea, Taiwan Strait and other regions, and Japan. Friction and confrontation between Vietnam, Philippines, Taiwan, etc. These disputes have not only increased regional security risks, it also affects the economic and trade cooperation between China and these countries. Second, the domestic policy is too conservative. Inhibition of reform and opening up. China in the past 40 years. One of the key factors in achieving the economic miracle. Reform and opening up. Reform refers to delegating power and transferring profits. Let the market play a decisive role in the allocation of resources. Stimulate social creativity and vitality. Opening up refers to opening up the market to the outside world. Introduce foreign capital and technology. Facilitate international trade and cooperation. These two aspects promote each other. China's economy has achieved rapid development and transformation, however, in recent years. China's change, both leather and openness, encountered some resistance and setbacks. On the one hand, the pace of reform in China has slowed down. Some important areas and key links. Serious institutional barriers remain. For example, China's land system, fiscal and taxation system, social security system, financial system, etc. Further reforms are needed to meet the needs of economic transformation and social change. On the other hand, China's openness declines. Some protectionism and xenophobic policies and practices affected the exchanges and cooperation between China and the outside world. For example, China's restrictions on foreign investment, imbalance in foreign trade, restrictions on technology transfer, etc., sparked outrage and protests. The main reasons for the failure of China's economic policy: a flaw in the political system and leaders' misjudgment. China's political system is a highly centralized and micro-authorized systems. It lacks an effective control and supervision mechanism. There is also a lack of guarantees of democracy and the rule of law. This system must facilitates rapid decision-making and execution. But it can also lead to abuse of power, corruption, bureaucracy, embezzlement, etc. At the same time, this system is not conducive to producing capable and visionary leaders. More likely to produce ambitious and selfish leaders. China's current leader, Xi Jinping, is a typical example. Since he took office in 2012, continuously strengthened their power and control. Suppression of opinion and opposition. Eliminate term limits and succession rules. Create a personality cult and ideological unity. Not only did he see himself as an infallible leader, also put their own ideas and roots impose on the whole party. He disregards facts and reason, only looking out for self-interest. He does not listen to different opinions and suggestions. Only believe in yourself. Judgment and decision. He does not respect market laws and international rules. Only pursue national strength and world leadership. China. The consequences of economic policy failures are severe and far-reaching. On the one hand, it has plunged the Chinese economy into a low growth, low efficiency, low quality, low stability. Multiple dilemmas such as low confidence and happiness. On the other hand, it makes China's relationship with the world become more tense and antagonistic, especially with the US. China and the United States are the two largest economies in the world and the two most important strategic competitors. If the economic conflict between China and the United States escalation to military conflict, then global peace and security will face a serious threat. Then the prospects and possible transformation of China's economy. What is it then? We can think about this problem from two aspects. First, whether China's economy can achieve high-quality development. Second, whether China's economy can achieve sustainable development. High-quality development refers to the Chinese economy not only to maintain a certain growth rate, also improve the efficiency and quality of growth, to accommodate the needs and expectations of the Chinese people for a better life. Sustainable development. It means that the Chinese economy should not only consider the current interests, also consider the future impact. To achieve the coordinated development of economy, society and environment. Both aspects Both require China to carry out profound and comprehensive reforms. Leather and open. In order to realize the optimization and upgrading of the economic structure and the democratization and rule of law of the political system. Specifically, China wants to achieve high-quality development. Just need to do the following. One is to reduce dependence on investment and exports. Increase support for consumption and innovation. This means that China needs to improve the income distribution of residents. Improve residents' consumption ability and willingness. China also needs to improve the education system. Improving human capital quality and innovation. China needs to improve its market environment. Improve enterprise competitiveness and efficiency. The second is to reduce the preference for low-end industries. Increase investment in high-end industries. This means that China should speed up the adjustment of industrial structure. Promote industrial upgrading and service industry development. China also needs to strengthen scientific and technological innovation. Breakthrough in key core technologies and industrial chains. China needs to strengthen intellectual property protection. Encourage originality and creativity. The third is to reduce reliance on government intervention. Increase trust in market mechanisms. This means that China will deepen the transformation of government functions. Promote the modernization of government governance. China also needs to deepen fiscal, taxation, and financial reforms. Promoting fiscal accountability and monetary policy autonomy. China still needs to deepen reform of state-owned enterprises. Promoting diversification of property rights and mixed ownership. The same China wants to achieve sustainable development. Just need to do the following. One is to reduce waste and pollution of resources and the environment. Increase the protection of ecology and health. This means that China has to change its over-reliance on coal. Energy structure of petroleum and other fossil energy. Promote the development of clean and renewable energy. And using China to improve industrial production. And the environmental efficiency of urban construction. Promote the implementation of energy conservation, emission reduction, and circular economy. China also needs to improve agricultural production and food safety quality control. Promote the development of green agriculture and organic agriculture. 2 is reduce stress and waste on population and workforce. Increase investment and training in education and talents. This means China wants to change its over-reliance on cheap workforce development model. The driving force to promote technological progress and industrial upgrading. China also needs to change plans to over-control population growth. Birth policy. Promote the optimization of population structure and population quality. China also needs to change its excessive neglect of education fairness and education quality education system. Promote education reform and education innovation. The third is to reduce the impact on social stability and ethnic unity. Not threats and challenges. Increase social justice. And the promotion and protection of national harmony. This means China wants to change the excessive repression of freedom of speech, political system, and democratic participation. Promote political reform and political opening. China also needs to change excessive neglect of social issues, social policy and social needs. Promote the improvement of social security and social services. China still needs to change its overemphasis on Han culture, ethnic policy with Han interests. Promote ethnic equality and ethnic integration. Alright, let's stop here for today's lesson. If you like my video, please like, share, comment and subscribe. and open the small bell, click all. This is Wealth Accumulation Channel. See you next time.